It's like living in a park with all the trees. It has its own community house, lots of activities for children, a very family-oriented neighborhood. Well, I purchased the house next
to their health and their community's health, and become engaged in the decision in buying locally, knowing the farmer who's where it will be consumed. So we want to build local, talk about how we build greater access to healthy foods. It's about eating healthy food. It's about where your food comes from. There's a lot of preparedness among the population who've heard about the benefits of eating more fruits and vegetables, who've heard about the benefits of supporting local businesses and local farmers. And so we don't...
The inner cities are the last bastion of mom and pop restaurants. They're not overrun with Applebee's, all those other things. So it's important to have that continue. And food, we've got something for you. We've got a pretty broad, probably leans about 50% vegetarian, certainly healthy, and then the other 50%, with things from steaks, meatloaf, fish and chips behind that have to happen. And when you've done that, and you see most people walking out with a smile, and that they've enjoyed themselves. You're a little tired. You put on a decent presentation.
Offer, and that really is a true urban neighborhood.
People don't really know who we are and what we are, so we want to do something where we have just this great mix of the people that built Detroit. We're the original owners from.
We were able to tear down the buildings and keep the front walls, and then new construction from there on.
It's an Indian village. Turn of the century houses ranging from the 1890s to 1910, 1915 era housing, anywhere from small wood frame historic homes to 5,000 square foot historic homes.
We were able to tear down the buildings and keep the front walls, and then new construction from there on. We do own all the way to the corner of John R. We have the deli on the corner, Midtown Corner Cafe. They're packed every day at lunchtime. And then the convenience store next to that is the Quick Stop. Black Dress is a retail dress shop in Taylor. And then we're in Soul Sisters, which is retail shoes and purses. And this particular store has been open a year, and they're one of 4 stores, and they're in the, I think they're second for sales, so they're ahead of Ann Arbor, and they're ahead of, I think, Rochester and other museums down here. The DMC has 9 hospitals, a lot of restaurants, Majestic, Theater, Union Street, Mario's, Traffic Jam, the brewery down the street. When you tell somebody down here where you are or what you're doing, there's a sincere interest level.
And how Detroit was founded. For many years we've had this beautiful riverfront that Detroiters haven't been able to have access to and to use, and so it's very important. I think people have longed and have really wanted to have a place where they can bring their families and their friends and hang out along the riverfront and have a safe and friendly environment to do so, and to have this so close to all the downtown attractions for people to just walk down to and enjoy is extremely important. Outside and the fountains for children. Well, I think this is just the start of, big things that are happening. I think this will show people that the transformation and that our vision has become a reality, and that people can come down and use this. I think it'll really inspire people to see what's possible in the city, and especially on the riverfront. It's really been a very successful public-private partnership that has made this happen. The city's been very involved in all the private entities, so I think it just...
Having the opportunity to have some authorship.
People just want to support you because you're trying to do something in Detroit. I was born here, raised here, went to school here, work here, live here still. I just love that it's like a community.
Can other places you can
city, people raising families in the city, people embracing city living, and the city of Detroit in particular.
Things happening in the city right now as far as local government, businesses moving downtown.
People smooth path past all this great graffiti. You're a little bit below ground, it's a little quieter, there's nice landscaping. It's a great way to see the city. It's a great way to make use of green space and vacant land to spur some green economy, getting more folks outside, break down boundaries between our communities, and bring people together. It's a great way to
Asian Village actually is a really main floor of the parking structure, but on top of the parking structure we have 18,000 square feet of rooftop. That during lunchtime is people work around the rents, people to be interested in Asian culture, Asian food.
People from the neighborhood get together and come out with all of their arts and crafts.
4 stages of music, all diverse. And much bigger. I think it was 30,000 people down last year. You know, Pure Detroit's here selling Detroit clothing.
For street lights, and they do donations to local art schools and things like that. Derek May started techno a few blocks from here. He used to wake up every morning and see pipes out his window, and that was his inspiration for
sleep.
Don't sleep.
Say wake the F up. Wake up. That's what we do when we wake up.
The museum opened in the 1950s. It's been around here for many years. The Historical Society actually was founded in the 1920s. So there's been a group that have been collecting and preserving Detroit's history for over 80 years. It's really here to...
In 1998, a plan identified Woodward as being the spine of investment for Detroit. And because there were so many different areas that were blighted along the avenue, it was chosen as the first area to read that it is an attractive environment. And I think it just shows what we're capable of doing in other parts of the neighborhood.
It connects two of the major institutions and resources that we have, that being the riverfront to the south and the Eastern Market to the north. At some point in the hopefully very near future, you'll be able to go from the Wayne State DIA area, all neighborhood, and the visitors, of course, to this neighborhood will have the opportunity to get out and enjoy the out of doors. In operation along the riverfront, many communities have recognized that non-motorized pathways are important investments, creating places for people to walk, provided an economic stimulus. They've revitalized communities, and they've...
Well, the YMCA in Detroit has been a part of this community for almost 160 years. We have certainly our fitness center and our wellness center, which the majority of our members and constituents take advantage of. We also have, through our arts program, a fully functional theater. So stress might be at an all-time high, and we're here to be that one of the release points, or a place where people can find some respite and do something that's really very healthy and good for them.
When you're talking about economy, it's a very important and real part of that fabric of our city that makes it a wonderful place to live. I hope that
we're able to go in and for a very reasonable price acquire these homes, spend significant amount of money improving them, which creates a huge economic impact in the city. There are some great...
This was not designed to appeal to the very rich, but again to middle-class people. The neighborhood is basically steel, aluminum, glass, and brick.
Corktown started off as a farming community, and then the Irish, during the potato famine, settled the majority of the neighborhood. From there, it's just continued to be kind of a diverse, multi-ethnic neighborhood. The Lager House, so there's music, entertainment venues. It's definitely, I think, one of the stronger family neighborhoods. There's quite a few younger kids that live in the neighborhood. There's a great school at Holy Trinity. There's a children's bookstore. It's a 5-minute walk to the stadiums, walk to Campus Martius, walk to the riverfront. It's more, I guess, the convenience of it. It's just a healthier lifestyle. I think that everybody thought when Tiger Stadium shut down that the commercial viability of Michigan Avenue was going to completely plummet. And I think that it's been interesting to see that that hasn't occurred, and if anything, it's even gotten stronger at this point while the stadium still stands. I think it's the best.
It has a hotel feel to it. It's really cool, like a real luxurious hotel. And Great Lakes Tower has bigger, you don't really have that kind of time, but I wanted to see water, and the water is magical. It really is. It gives you a feeling of calmness and serenity that's unlike anything I've ever experienced. So many aspects of it, the restaurants and the music and the people. I feel like I'm on a vacation. The tennis courts, the swimming pools, the walking trails, the river walk, and everything around us is just really quite magical. Acres and acres of beautiful property on the river. There's a marina. There's everything that you would want in the suburbs, only it's right on the... Detroit has improved. It's Shangri-La. It's just a really wonderful place. It's like synchronicity, you know? It's like coming together, what we have to offer.
How cool the city was at that point. And when I was getting the idea together to do this pizzeria, this was the place that made sense to me. It's paid off in local support. Like, my customers have just been amazing about making sure they tell all their friends that there's this new down here, really deal in some really great products. Pretty much buy just about everything that I use here at the pizzeria in the market. So it's every Saturday I have a different kind of pizza going. And I've done some repeats with some of the popular ones, but I try to do something new with what I find, you know, that morning walking out there and, you know, talking to some...
The combination sustainability effort and workforce development.
A lot instead of just going back into society and not having a job, it's giving them an opportunity to learn a trade and work.
But I like,
which is wood, glass, metal, shingles, and then they are going to salvage as much as possible, saving it from going into the landfill. We don't need to...
We're cleaning up the community. We're helping get rid of blighted conditions, turning the community...
The gentleman with drinks, lemonade, and everything. The whole community is just so excited about the ability to take down these unsafe houses. It is providing safe opportunity.
It helps to bring neighborhoods back, stabilize neighborhoods. It provides workforce development and gives people a second chance. And it's an example of a great...
This neighborhood has been complete. The owners themselves have improved. It is completely renovated. Paved alleys and new sidewalks, new street lights, and refurbishing of the community as a whole. And this whole area became very populated and very popular with workers. It's a very large multicultural, multi-ethnic community of thriving businesses and exciting places to visit and shop and eat. There are a couple cultural institutions on the east side, a little bit like Manhattan. We have art and theater and good food, a recreation center, and there are any number of excellent, authentic Mexican and other Latin American cuisines. It's a place to live, a place to work, a place to shop. I like it because it's lively and...
Well, the neighborhood started in the 1920s and 30s, and you see a lot of architecture from that time, particularly a lot of Tudor Revival architecture. And it's been in Metro Detroit, we're not, so there's a strong Jewish population over the years. We have gay couples, lesbian couples. We have young couples, including young couples with children. There are artists. There are political, great opportunity to live in a house with sort of beautiful architecture at a great bargain. But also, I had known some of the people who lived here already, and I knew that this was really a neighborhood. It was really a community. People know one another, they talk to one another, they interact with one another. The houses here are an unrivaled bargain. And when I moved in 6 years ago, I thought that they were an incredible bargain, particularly compared to what you would get in the suburbs. I mean, you'd move the same house. The established trees, I mean, these trees have been in the neighborhood a lot longer than the houses have, and so we have this. A big part of the difference, I think, between Sherwood Forest, anywhere from 2,500 to 3,500 square feet, some of them a bit larger, and then Palmer Woods, 4,000 or 5,000 square feet or more. So depending on how much house you're looking for, that might make a difference as to which one you consider. The slogan we've been using recently for all of these, which is, come for the architecture.
Techtown is a research and technology park. It's bounded by 12 city blocks of urban redevelopment. Detroit, by stimulating growth through cultivating new technology companies in the emerging technology industry. We just opened a coffee shop last week as a retailer decided, there's enough going on here now that I can make a profit as a retailer. And so as those jobs are created, more retailers will show up. And at the same, this is the next energy center. We understood that it wasn't just simply about a building, it was about 12 city blocks.
Geographically, downtown, or a lot of times people will call it like the central business district, it's approximately 1 square mile. But for a long time, no one lived on Woodward, part of this downtown community. You never have to drive anywhere. Campus Martius, I think, is one of the most amazing projects that has truly transformed downtown into an incredibly walkable environment. Walk has really added to the amount of walkability and community, in that it gives people another public space to experience their city and each other at the same time. There's even a medical office. I walk to the doctors, I walk to the dentist. I can walk to 150 bars and restaurants, so that doesn't count Jimmy John's or any of those places. So there's really a slew of options. Obviously the Detroit Breakfast House and Grill would probably be one of the more popular breakfast locations. Then there's Vicente's Cuban Cuisine, which is probably one of my favorite restaurants in the city. There actually is a little beautiful park called Harmony Park here. With some art, sculptures, a little fountain, some benches. 13,000 theater seats, which is the second largest district in the entire country. I can walk to Tigers games, Lions games, and Red Wings games, and in 5 minutes be there. We have architecture like the Guardian Building, or to live right in the midst of everything, and it's an exciting, and I think the most dense of all the neighborhoods. We have the Cadillac opening this month, maybe a new hockey stadium.
Midtown is a boundary sort of placed around the college museums in the area, and it's sort of an education center within the city. The community in Midtown is just so eclectic. So you have students, you have older retirees such as the Bureau of Urban Living, and then in recent years there's been a multitude of new loft developments. Numerous bars. You can easily bike and walk. You don't need to get in your car ever. College graduates are looking for a stimulating atmosphere, an exciting place to live, and they're looking.
We are a traditional Italian wine bar. My family is Sicilian. We found the location and basically wanted to specialize in wine. We're also a full bar. I can honestly say I used to, not come downtown that often, cool people every day, people from all walks of life, just genuinely cool people. And like I said, a lot of the business owners down here have been so warm and welcoming to us down here. I love it. I love working in the city. I love, it being busy and, the hustle and bustle of it. Like I said, my dad's been in the business.
It's an incredible neighborhood. I mean, especially coming from the suburbs. I knew more people here within the first couple weeks of moving in than I knew in 10 years.
And nobody's pretentious. I think everyone really, it's a community. It really, really is a community.
The empowerment zone tax credit, it's very affordable.
I think there's so much energy with people like ourselves and, you know, other new folks that are coming into the area.
It's inspiring to be in a place like this and not caught up in the burbs. The architects of the area designed every house differently. So each house has its own peculiar character to it. The sense of space is just profound. Whether it's the park, it's really an odd juxtaposition being in the city and having space. When Detroit really came to fruition around the turn of the century, this was the place. And it's...
I wanted the shop to have kind of a fun name.
The building was originally called the Harmony Club. It was built by the Harmony Musical Society in 1895. We moved in July the 13th, 2009 to pursue a career in it and give people a high level of instruction. The exhibit that's currently in the building is called Rock My Soul, The Black Legacy of Rock and Roll. And it is an exhibition that we did in partnership with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum in Cleveland. And it tells the story of the black influence or African American arts in the city. And there's a real need. We felt that there was a void both locally and, as it turns out, nationally. So we're not in the business of...
This is an area of Detroit called Brightmoor. It's a 4 square mile area. So very poor quality housing was built for people that were moving from the south. Investors bought the property rather cheaply, turned it into rental property with people with no income. Many of them burned or boarded up. And so you end up with that. That's the character of the community: poverty, chaos. We just finished installing a spirit garden where we used landscape design to create a spiral design to the garden. We're challenging people to be in touch with the center of the earth and their own center of their own energy, define the future of our neighborhood and our individual futures.
You get to take care of your plants and then watch them grow.
What we plan to do is gather stories, and those stories become... This that I'm doing right now is a bench to pay homage to concepts like look into your past in order to know where you're going. To plot your future, you have to look behind.
This is a place for somebody looking for a chance for a new beginning, a chance.
We're at 71 Garfield, which is in Midtown, and the Sugar Hill District. The building on Woodward Avenue is having to look behind at this district and saying, if we're ever going to make this successful, we've got to get control of the rest of the building. Panels are pretty stunning too. We have a 20 kV unit up on the roof that is selling energy directly to, and in nice sunny days like this, so what we'll have is a really lively district that a few pioneers coming in with Garfield Building and Moby that symbolizes a lot of what everybody's trying to do right now anyway. So we've combined the history with...
I was grown in Detroit. We knew CFA, the Catherine Ferguson Academy, which is a Detroit public high school. We knew it already. It's a high school farm at the school, and through working on the farm, they learn things like there's a lot to be learned from farming, and we have to go back to our roots. But on the other hand, you see a lot of opportunities too, which we don't have anymore, having so many people come here. It's beautiful, but it's I wouldn't say ugly. It's beautiful, but it's different in the same way. So you're so like in awe of how, you know, all the buildings look like. And you can be a farmer on tarmac. You can be, you know, start over again with small things. But it is an opportunity which, you know, other people wouldn't have, buying a cheap house, buying land and starting over again.